What is going on, you guys? Welcome on in to the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, Zack Heydorn back in the saddle again, this time along for the first time, making her debut on the channel, Lyric Swinton. Thank you so much for joining us for All In Predictions. And you are actually, right now, boots on the ground in Dallas, Texas. I'm very impressed by your mobile setup. You look clear, you look crystal, you're coming in great. Thank you so much for being with us fresh off the plane.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Zack, I feel like we just did this yesterday.
We just did. I'm still good. And although more jealous as the week goes on that I won't be attending some of the shows this time, just covering it from my home office here. But glad you guys are out and about. It's going to be one heck of a weekend.
I was going to say, by the time this drops here on the YouTube channel, I will be wheels down I-75 heading for Hotlanta, Georgia, ready for everything. Saturday night's main event and obviously Evolution on Sunday. John Alba is also going to be in Texas with Lyric. So we got you covered, boots all over the ground, all across the country for all of the shows this weekend. We'll have Great American Bash covered as well. And yeah, there's reasons to check out the Takedown on SI and the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. John Alba's conversation with Hangman Page is going to be dropping this week as well, so make sure to check that out. He has promised really, really good things from that interview. Without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Only 8 matches on an AEW card, and remember, we're recording this ahead of Dynamite, so there may be a 9th that gets added. Probably the AEW Trios Championship match, if I have to assume. So we are only going to cover the matches that have been announced, and that is 8, which to me tells me right off the bat, Kenny Omega and Okada are going a straight hour long. There is no way. I will set the over-under. Maybe we can do this as a bonus. I will set the over-under at 57.5 minutes.
57? Okay.
What are you taking, the over or are you taking the under on that one? Entrances included. Like the whole
entrances
shebang,
included.
The whole shebang, the whole segment.
Okay.
Over under 57.5 minutes.
I can live with that. Okay. I was gonna say maybe 45 for the match, but the entrances are gonna be long. It's gonna be a lot. So yeah, I won't argue with that.
You gotta take the over or the under on that one, Zack?
Taking the over. I'm taking the over. I mean, look. Tony Khan has signed these two guys to have this match on this show. Like, this is the reason it happened. So if he could put them out there for 2 hours, I think he would. So yeah, over.
Like the first 4 matches that these guys had were such these epic encounters. I don't know. It's like, it would be like trying to have Avengers Endgame be 90 minutes. It's impossible, right? Like, you have to flesh it out. You have to go. There are some movies that need to be 3 hours. There are some matches that need to be an hour. And I think this one, let's go ahead and start right here. It is the unification matchup for the AEW Continental and AEW International Championship. Okada, Omega, their 5th matchup, one-on-one. And the first one in quite some time, if memory serves correct. Lyric, which way are you leaning here? Because I am right now at a straight coin flip.
Yeah, I'm kind of like down the middle on this one. Like, I think that Kenny winning could set up a lot of different programs. And I mean, you have to think, out of the 3 all-ins that we've had, he's never had that singles match that we've been waiting for. And so I think that it would be really cool for him to win here. But also at the same time, Okada still hasn't had like that huge moment. Of course, like, he won the Continental Classic, but let's just be real. This is the match that he got signed for, right? And I think like this is a huge opportunity to make him honestly the monster heel on the roster, and all the stars are aligning. So I think I'm going to lean towards Okada for this one, but you will never see me complain to see Kenny Omega win.
Zack, where are you going?
I'm going Okada also. I want to say right out of the gate, just before I talk more about predictions, I think AEW did an incredible job with this match, building it up. I think that you want to be careful when you have this sort of thing, because Okada and Omega are current guys. They're not just nostalgia acts at the moment in AEW. They're current top guys for you. And I think it was important for this feud to not just be about the nostalgia of 6 years ago or 7 years ago. I'm glad that it picked up storyline in the now for people that maybe have never even seen those other matches, you can still kick back and enjoy this, and you don't have to know the history. And I think balancing that and walking that line was going to be difficult always for Tony Khan, but I think they hit the right note there as far as that goes. With that said, Okada is a strong character when he wins and when he's dominant, and I think you establish the new unified championship in a strong way by putting it around his waist and having a bunch of different baby faces chase him down for the next 6, 8, 10 months, whatever it is. But I think, having baby faces chase initially is the good way to go on this one. Protects Okada, and Kenny's Kenny. He's going to be fine no matter what. So I'm taking the old Rainmaker.
All right, so since you guys went that way, I'm gonna go the other way because, like I said, it was a coin flip. So I'm just for the sake of being different, I'm going to take a Kenny Omega in this one. And honestly, it could go either way. Like you could talk me into either way, but all I want out of this is I just want to see mano a mano, man to man. Like I had somebody say, "Oh, Jack Perry's gonna show up and help." I don't want none of that. I don't want any shenanigans in this. I genuinely just want one-on-one, had these guys throw down for an hour if they need that much time, if that's what you feel like it needs to have, and then just have there actually be a definitive winner. I mean, Okada has been on such like this incredible run that he's had since he won the Continental Classic and then retained the championship. If somebody's going to just come in and be the one to finally just knock him off and beat him in a one-on-one contest and overcome all of his, nefarious tactics, I think it is going to be Kenny Omega. So I'm going to lean Omega, but I'm right there. I could change my mind 4 or 5 times before this show hits the air.
I think this is just one of those times where we just win, like for us.
We win.
Yeah, like we win. Honestly, just after everything that Kenny's been through, finally getting him to this point. Obviously, this match was supposed to happen last year. Diverticulitis, but a huge wrench in those plans. Just to have both of these guys still function at the top of their game, to be able to recreate this match on American soil, when you think about the fact like this was the match series that really put New Japan on the map for international fans. This is historic in more ways than one. And so I'm just really excited that we get to see it. And also too, they got so many of the key players from some of the first matches back in. Don Callis was on commentary for a lot of those original matches. And then you had Kota Ibushi and Kenny's corner for that last match that they had at Dominion in 2018. And so they've really kind of, pulled everything together as a nod to the past, but also, as you were saying, like just keeping it fresh for people who might not be as, in tune with the original series.
Yeah, and RSP3 did a spectacular job breaking down the entire rivalry between these two gentlemen, all 4 of their previous matches. That article is up now on the Takedown on SI, so please make sure to check that out. Give yourself a refresher, and then go watch back some of those matches as a pregame, because trust me, you're not going to feel like you wasted your time at the end of it. Here's what I love about this show. I feel like I'm going to say this multiple times, and this is what I love about AEW. I genuinely have no clue who's winning this matchup. It is Adam Cole defending the TNT Championship against Kyle Fletcher. And I go back, guys, to the Continental Classic and leading up to it this past year. Like, it really seemed like AEW was in the Kyle Fletcher business. Like, they made sure to make him look strong and just completely ramp him up. I was almost convinced that he was going to win that and win the Continental Championship last year. Is this the time, Zack, where they anoint him? Does he defeat Adam Cole, Bebe, and take the TNT Championship?
I don't think so. I think Adam Cole is going to retain this championship. Look, the TNT title picture to me has been pretty, unrestful when you think about just where the championship has been defended. Has it been on TV? Who's held it? It's kind of been all over the place. And I think right now, Adam Cole has started to define that a little bit. And let's not forget, Adam Cole should be a significant player for you
Yes.
if you're Tony Khan. He's, not to say that he's a guy who should never do jobs and who shouldn't lose to Kyle Fletcher, but this guy is a guy who can be something for you still. And he's kind of fallen on some slow times, lacked some momentum, injuries, but you got to build him back up. And the only way you can find that Adam Cole oomph again is if you feed it and you book it right. And so as much as important as Kyle Fletcher is, I think it's more important to get Adam Cole on the right track. And I think a big win at All In does that.
I feel like the TNT Championship has really been the one that's kind of suffered with two other singles titles as well, which is why I'm glad that they're unifying the Continental and International Championship, because I think that's going to open things up for the TNT Championship. And, it really kind of hindered Daniel Garcia's reign. It's kind of hindered Adam Cole's reign so far. They've given him a couple of good title defenses. I just think it's too early. I think it's too early to take it off of him. I think you've got plenty of time. I mean, Kyle Fletcher's only 25, 26, somewhere in that ballpark. He's got many years of winning championships in AEW ahead of him. I think it's too early to take it off Adam Cole. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. Lyric, where are you swinging?
I'm going in the exact opposite direction.
Yes.
Belt up the Proto Star. I think we should have honestly done it weeks ago. But I think that this is the perfect time. I think the story is there, especially from that original All In Wembley. I think that Adam Cole has had a good TNT title reign, but I think right now what you need is electrifying, especially to bring this title back up to like what it used to be. And I think that Kyle Fletcher has just been, yes, he's young and yes, he's technically a developing talent, but he's been functioning on a main event level for at least the past
He's
year.
So damn good.
And I think, honestly, I genuinely don't think the TNT title is honestly big enough for him, to be quite honest. But I just don't think that there's a world right now where it's believable that Adam Cole is beating this version of Kyle Fletcher one-on-one. Like right now, of just they're functioning on two completely different levels. And so I think that this is the time. I think that especially with things starting to rearrange itself in the Don Callis family, I mean, that 1-2 punch of Okada and Kyle Fletcher, it's going to be insane, especially with them carrying the gold. And I think that what we see, especially if the Death Riders fall later in the night, Don Callis family is going to emerge as the top heel faction in AEW. And I think this is just really going to set them on that scale, set up for the Takeshita, babyface turn, which is eventually going to come. But yeah, I'm going with Kyle Fletcher all the way. And I think that it's very fitting that his crowning happened at All In.
Do we think Daniel Garcia gets involved in this one and that's how they get him on the show?
He shouldn't.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to let's do the triple threat match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Hurt Business, Zack, has just they've crushed everybody in the tag team division. But you've got the Upstart team and Jet Speed, which they have just absolutely brutalized at every turn until they kind of gave Kevin Knight a little bit of a hope spot by winning that triple threat at Collision and getting the win off of the work of Nick Wayne, who is also going to be in this matchup as the Patriarchy is there. Remember, the Patriarchy, according to Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select, was supposed to be pretty much wrapped up at this point, and Christian was supposed to be teaming with Adam Copeland to take on FTR. Right now, FTR ain't on the card. Cope ain't back yet, because Christian, again, reportedly wanted to flesh out the storyline with the Patriarchy. Now they are in the AEW Tag Team Championship matchup. If they don't win the tag team titles, what was the point of doing all this is my question.
I think I don't think they're going to win the tag team title. I think you're going to see Click go on whatever is going to happen with the Patriarchy and Nick Wayne and Christian. I think you're going to see that here. I think that's why they're in this match. I think that's why they're kind of shoehorned into this thing. So you're right. It's you got to think about why are they in this? And you could put the tag titles on them, but that has a ripple effect across a lot of other storylines, particular the one with the Hurt Syndicate. And I think that still is a premier level kind of storyline week to week for AEW, even after All In. And I don't think you want to hurt that just to like kind of prolong a patriarchy feud that, let's be honest, like people kind of care about it, but not really, not all that much. And so the Hurt Syndicate is what's at play here. I feel bad for Jet Speed. They got beat up. They got kind of they're in a position now where, like, in regular kind of wrestling booking cadence, they would get the one up and get that victory and overcome all of those odds to kind of rectify them just getting beat up at every turn. I don't think that's happening in this match. So they're not going to come out of this looking great. They're not, they're not hurt forever, but this is not going to be a great or fun day at the office for old Jet Speed.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if Jet Speed won, because I feel like most of the tag team division is heel teams at this point, and you kind of need that babyface team for them to chase.
Absolutely.
But I just can't go against the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Yeah,
I'm not betting against them.
Yeah. They've been so dominant. I just don't feel like now's the time to take it off of them. And I kind of do hope that whatever happens here, there is some kind of blow up with Christian and Nick Wayne, so we can kind of wrap up the patriarchy thing and finish off the angle that Christian pushed so hard to really flesh things out with. I don't see them winning the tag team titles this weekend. I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate. What about you, Lyric?
Yeah, I think that Jet Speed should win. I'm not sure if they're going to win, which I worry how that is going to affect the tag division long term, because I don't feel like the tag division is in a good place. Like, I think that the Hurt Syndicate is very, like, they're very captivating, and like they're dominant, and they just have this effortless cool factor that you really can't buy, Yeah. But at the end of the day, as far as like elevating the tag division and honestly having memorable performances, I don't think that they've done that. And I think that the team that has done that, especially in recent weeks, is Jet Speed. I think that, so much of the most memorable stuff from Dynamite, anything that they've been a part of, has been Jet Speed. But them getting beat down every week. So I just want, like, I'm really worried, like, honestly, I'm genuinely worried about like how they come out of this, like still looking, formidable. Cause I think that both Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, who I've been watching, before they even came to AEW, have been absolutely phenomenal since like they've came. Where Christian and Nick Wayne fit into it, I do think like this may be like the beginning of the end for them, which makes sense. But I think if Jet Speed wins, I think that the Hurt Syndicate comes out of this not getting pinned. Like, I think that, maybe that's what they're here for. Yeah. So maybe that's what Christian and Nick Wayne, maybe that's what causes the blow up, right? Like them, losing the match for everybody. But I don't see the Hurt Syndicate losing. But if they do win, I would really hope that we get something, different from their matches. Like, I really want this to be a really good performance, because I think like these last couple pay-per-views, I think the Hurt Syndicate is typically a part of like one of the weaker matches on AEW pay-per-view. So I'm hoping like, this is a break from that. I'm going to go with the Hurt Syndicate wins, but I think the Jet Speed definitely should.
So now that we've all picked the Hurt Syndicate and started writing the obituaries for the patriarchy, Kill Switch shows up and helps the patriarchy win the tag team championships. There we go. That's what's going to end up happening.
Never say never, man.
That would be sick. That would be really sick. I mean, especially after, all that he's been through and like, sure. Recovering. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I
wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Wouldn't be mad.
I am very excited for this matchup. I was there for the first one in Cincinnati when Toni, the rookie, Toni Storm won, and we know what that where that set her off, and she knocked off Mariah May at Grand Slam Australia, ended up retaining the title at Revolution, and she's going to be facing Mercedes Monae this weekend. It is the return of the women's casino gauntlet match. We know Chris Statlander is entering number 1. Wide open field, Zachary, wide open. Where are you leaning here?
It is wide open, and that is what's going to make this match a lot of fun. That's what's going to make this match a lot of fun, and I think even more so than the men's one, because I think the men's match is kind of angling a certain direction.
Yeah, it's not as wide open in my opinion.
It's not as wide open as this one. But yeah, there's a lot of different possibilities here. And I'm thinking that they're going to go with Chris Statlander on this one. I think that they've been positioning her within like a storyline with Marina Shafir, or on the periphery of one potentially. You know, depending on who comes out of the World Championship match winning the world title, whether it's Toni Storm retaining or Mercedes Monae, you know, winning the belt, both of them are gonna need opponents, you know, to work with one way or the other. And Statlander is a good kind of like upper tier opponent. Like, this is kind of her spot. I don't think she's gonna be an act that gets, you know, a 6 or 8 or 9 month title reign, but she is going to be someone that gets flexed up into world title matches and world title programs and world title feuds. And in order to do that successfully and regularly, you got to get her some victories. And this just seems like the perfect moment to do that. You've got some storyline, you know, background noise that can help her get there. And then, you know, onward she goes. So I'm going to take Statlander in this.
Lyric, where are you leaning?
I think it just really all depends on who wins. Like, right? I think that if Chris Statlander was supposed to lose to Mercedes again, she would have been like a semifinalist for the Owen. You know, like, I think if they went, but clearly they didn't, they went the Jamie Hayter route, which means that it seems like they're trying to protect her from, like, you know, that third loss. And so it makes me think, like, if Toni wins, then I think that Chris Statlander should win. I think that she's the person, because when you think about that original AEW women's roster, Chris Statlander is probably the best success story that they have from that OG one. Like, she's been solid, she's been dependable. When, you know, they brought her back to win the TBS title, she was a workhorse for that belt. Pulled off one of the only, probably the only majorly successful women's non-title feuds when Mercedes was getting her groove back. 2 excellent matches that those two had. I think that she should win. But if Mercedes wins, I think that you're kind of like in this tough situation to where you have all these women who have already lost to her. Mercedes isn't going to lose her first defense, which she shouldn't. And so I think that knocks out Stat, Athena, Willow, and you have Megan Bain there too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shouldn't be losing, you know, again until like it's time for her to win. And so I think maybe then it opens up for, you know, potentially somebody else. And I'm not even sure who that person would be. Maybe it would be like, you know, maybe a Queen Aminata who's been on a really great run, or I don't know, a debuting Alex Windsor or something like that. Like, it's so many different options. And then, I mean, yeah, Super Card of Honor the night before. Like, what if Athena loses the title? Then I think, like, imagine her winning in front of her home crowd. Like, you know, like,
she's so close to 1,000 days at this point. Just let her get there, though.
I think the thing is, but for why? Like, you know, at this point,
because there's literally like maybe 2 handfuls of people who have ever done that for any championship, period.
That's fair. But I think she's just smashed the record so many times, all these different records of, I don't know. Like, I think like that would be the perfect place, you know, for her to just come in, take this, like, you know, win this casino gauntlet. So I think it really just depends on who wins the women's world title match. But I'm going to go with Chris Statlander. I think it's her time. But I wouldn't be mad at a Willow Nightingale win there either.
I feel like Willow would. I think there's 2 options on the babyface side. And I think it is Willow, because assuming Mercedes wins, and we'll get to that match, but assuming Mercedes wins, which she is favored to do right now, like, there's obviously so much history that you can play off with her and Willow, and there's obviously a lot that you could play off with Athena as well, and that would be my please, like, let her win this and begin her ascension toward becoming a full-fledged AEW roster member. I think just getting her in the match would be spectacular. I hope that they end up doing that, getting her on this card somewhere. I would have liked to have seen them put Athena and Thunder Rosa on All in Texas personally, and just give them that one-on-one spotlight.
But they are wrestling at the Supercard of Honor show, right?
Yeah, and Tony said in the media call that he expects both Athena and Thunder to be in the Casino Gauntlet. So
Yeah.
we'll
So
see.
Okay.
this one really is tough because it's so wide open. I want to pick Athena because it is Texas, and I'm willing because I want to see Mercedes and Athena 2 so damn badly. I don't even care who wins. Like, I want to see that match so badly. So for the sake of making a selection, I'm going to pick Athena. I have a feeling, though, it's somebody who's not currently in the company who's going to come in and win this match, a la like a Brian Cage when he came in and he won the what's that match called where he pulled the poker chip off the ladder, the casino match or whatever it is.
Casino ladder match.
Yeah, the casino ladder match. I feel like it's going to be something like that.
But who would be like I'm maybe Dakota Kai, but I don't think
that's who I was thinking. And
I don't think Dakota's a big enough like star to come in and just be like, yeah, I'm winning this Casino Gauntlet. Like, I don't know.
I don't think Mercedes, again, assuming it's Mercedes, I don't think Mercedes is losing anytime soon anyway. So I feel like coming in and having somebody like a Dakota Kai, who the hardcore wrestling fans, which are a majority of AEW wrestling fans, they know Dakota. They know her background. They are going to pop for her in a major way. And to have her come in and immediately just announce her presence with authority, even if she does lose to Mercedes at some point down the line, I think Mercedes is also the perfect person to bring in somebody like Dakota and give her that first match and just let them have that banger that Dakota never really had the chance to do on the main roster in WWE. I think that would be a great way to introduce her. So I feel like it's going to be somebody like that, but for the sake of making a safer choice, I am going to go with Athena. How about over on the men's side? This definitely feels like it's down to one of these three guys on the graphic, doesn't it? Because they've been the center of the build. Mystico, Mark Briscoe, and MJF. Look, this has MJF written all over it. I'm gonna pick MJF. There's not a whole lot I can go off of just what they're reading. This MJF, Hangman, possibly, potentially. We'll get to the title picture down the line here, but yeah, I'm going MJF.
Me too.
Me three. Yeah, there's not much discussion can be had on this. I mean, like, look, could you go a different way with a surprise? For sure, but sometimes it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. It is a duck, and I think this is MJF's time.
You could do something where you bring back a Jay White, right? Somebody like that, and he comes in and he wins it. But they've been teasing. They have been teasing MJF and Hangman for so long, and I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself here. But that just seems to be the direction that they're going here.
Yep.
How about the EVP title match? Young Bucks, Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay. Is this the final weekend in power for the Bucks, Zack Heydorn?
It is.
Oh,
see you later, EVP titles. See you later, alligator. I'm taking Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland here. I know that you add a big stipulation on the heel side where, hey, if the Young Bucks win, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay can't challenge for the world title for a year. I get that. I kind of think that I need to go by my same logic, which is think about why you add that in. You add that in probably because you might want to go that way. However, I just think that would be a mess of a situation for AEW to have to book around for a year. I mean, Swerve and Will Ospreay, those are arguably two of your top stars. They're definitely two of your top three stars. And, you're going to want them for big title matches. I mean, a year is a long time with all the shows they're producing, with all the pay-per-views that they have, with the specialty events that they do, overseas, Grand Slam, Mexico, Australia, whatever. You need strong babyface contenders for world titles. And I add into that, I kind of just think the Young Bucks EVP thing has run its course. I mean, what else do you do with it at this point in time? What do you do? And presumably, or at least I'm kind of giving away my pick for the main event here, but it's kind of like a show where the heels are going down, right? And that's Jon Moxley, that's the Death Riders. I think that's also the Young Bucks. So bye-bye EVPs.
I feel like this keeping Swerve and Ospreay out of the world title picture would just be rehashing what they did with Cody, where he's like, I'm never going to challenge for the AEW World Championship if I lose this match. And then they did, and then he didn't.
And it didn't work.
And it did not work. That said, Young Bucks are winning this match. Young Bucks are winning. They're keeping Omega, they're keeping Ospreay and Strickland out of the world title picture. And I think it has a lot to do with who's going to end up winning the main event, which we'll get to. Lyric, who are you going with?
I'm going with my glorious EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. But I'm going to tell you why. I think that it's just much more interesting if Swerve and Ospreay lose. And the reason why I say this is because you just introduced this beautiful, beautiful unified championship. And by the time Okada Omega ends, that belt is going to be a second world title. And that world title is going to need challengers. And if you remove Swerve and Ospreay from the world title picture and you start putting these guys in front of Okada or whoever ends up winning that match, and think about it, we still haven't had Swerve versus Omega yet. We still haven't done like a huge, Swerve Okada program. Ospreay and Okada touched in Continental Classic, but we really haven't really dug into that yet. There's so many things that you can do. Ospreay and Omega haven't really touched since, like Forbidden Door 2023. So when you can really start off this unified championship picture with some real top guys, you make that belt formidable. But you also have these guys coming up the pipeline. I think that Bandito has been absolutely incredible this year. Takeshita, right? Kyle Fletcher, so many guys who people have been saying, oh, they should be in the world title picture. Well, now they can because you have these other guys doing other stuff. I think that with these two belts, these two specific title pictures, I think there's space, like for all of these guys, kind of similar to a situation like New Japan had years ago with the IWGP heavyweight title and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. So I think that this could be a really cool opportunity. And plus, by the time the year's over, we'll still have more than enough time to build for Ospreay to go to Wembley, main event, have his, fairy tale moment, because that's going to be Bank holiday, August of, 2026. So I hear what everybody's saying, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal, especially now that you have these two belts. These guys are definitely still going to be top of the card worthy. So yeah, I'm going with the Young Bucks here.
The Unified Championship thing is a great point. It's really hard to sit here and not go, oh, you're right. After hearing that, because you're right. I mean,
put some thought into this ahead of time, Zach, because like I'm looking down at her sheet here and I'm like, damn, that does make sense.
No, yeah. I mean it really does. Like if you think about it as just like Okada and Omega wrestling for the the international championship and the continental championship, it's like, okay, like, but when the match they're going to have and they're creating this new title, new name,
and it's beautiful,
new belt is gorgeous, right? Like
needs a new name, but yeah.
Okay. But my point is like, you can see real fast how like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that is going to be kind of like that title is going to elevate in stock in by Sunday morning or Monday morning because of what not just because it exists, but because of presumably the quality of a match that Omega and Okada are going to have. So I think that's a great point. I'm going to stay where I am just for like to be consistent. But that's a really good. It's
already been locked in. Can't change.
It's not locked in. It's yeah.
Our last two matches, what is being billed as the biggest women's match in AEW history, and I will wholeheartedly agree with that. Timeless Toni Storm against Mercedes Monae. It's just so hard to pick against Mercedes. It's so hard to pick against Mercedes.
Dude, she has creative control.
Yeah, clearly she's just going to call her shot. And, if Tony says, hey, I want Tony to win, she's going to be like, that's not going to work for me, brother. And, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to take care of business. All right. Because that's what I do. All right. You see Queen of the Ring. I'm going to do that shit. I'm just going to go out there and, we'll shoot it. We'll shoot this. But no, I think Tony Khan has been building to this for over a year. He knows what he has in Mercedes Monae. She's in her full-on belt collector mode, and I think she's going to get another one. I think she's going to beat Toni Storm. Lyric, what do you think?
This is really hard because these are two of my absolute favorites.
Same.
I think that Tony Khan knows what he has in Mercedes, but I think that Tony Khan also knows what he has in Toni Storm. And I don't know, I think I guess there's a lot that you could do if Mercedes wins, right? But I think that there's even more that you can do if she loses here. And I think the story beats that Toni Storm has been saying of you need all these belts, I only need one, and then it's constantly the greed, and even too I've been noticing they've been hitting on all the components of 7 deadly sins throughout this feud, and I don't know. I think that it eventually cost Mercedes. I wouldn't be shocked to see her win, and I would be more than happy to see her win. But I also think too, this is the opportunity to make Toni Storm immortal. Almost she is the best star that AEW has built from scratch, essentially built her up. At the end of the day, as big of a star that Mercedes is, this is Toni Storm's division. That is Toni Storm's belt. She is synonymous with it. And if you kept this belt on her for the 4th time, the run that she's on, I feel like you got to do something with that. Because the thing is, we've already seen Toni's downfall, right? We've already seen her meltdown after losing the title. She's already had her loss of identity story, literally. So, what do you realistically do? Because you've already told that story for Toni, but you haven't told it for Mercedes yet. So I'm going to go with Toni Storm for this one. But wouldn't be shocked or disappointed to see it go the other way.
I feel like you say make Toni Storm immortal. I feel like she's kind of already there. And I feel like you could give somebody else on the roster the rub by being the first one to actually beat Mercedes, whether it's for the TBS championship or the AEW women's championship, because she's going to be defending both of them along with the 5 others that she has. So, I
agree with that, but also too
comes down to 2, right?
Yeah. At this point, you've put genuinely all of your best stars in front of Mercedes, and she's beat all of them. The biggest person that you have, the strongest person you have, is Toni Storm. So if Toni Storm can't beat her, who can? That's kind of because the thing is, she's already faced Athena. She's already faced Chris Statlander twice. She's already faced Willow Nightingale. She's faced all your top, all your top baby faces at this point. And don't get me wrong. I think it's still compelling for them to beat her on the 2nd or 3rd or 4th try, whatever.
Right.
But Toni Storm is really the last line of defense as far as the women's division as it relates to Mercedes. If she can't, then who can?
Zach, where are you going?
Man, both of you guys make very compelling arguments. I'm going to go with Mercedes, and I'm going with Mercedes because one thing keeps blaring in my mind, and that's rematch. I think you want to do more than one of these. I really think that you want to do more than one. And in order to get to that second one easiest, I think you got to put Monae over and then have Toni chase down that rematch for a little bit. Also, I think it's just, Mercedes Monae has been, collecting all these titles. She's been the TBS champion, right? It's kind of like one of those things where you started down this path with her, you're right there. You're almost at the finish line, giving her the big one. I think you gotta get her that big one. And you do want to make sure that you have something for Toni Storm after this, because just because she loses the title, I don't think it means that she's moving down the card or moving down in terms of just, stature or importance in the division. So, it is on Tony Khan to have good storylines ready for her on the way to that rematch. But you've invested a lot in Monae, like literally with money and also with time and with title belts. And, seeing that through, I think, is important for just for the company at this point. So I'm expecting a hell of a match here. I'm really excited for this. I mean, I really am. And, both of these women are so creative in the ring. They're so smooth and they're so confident in their characters. Like, this should be magic. And I'm really looking forward to it. But I think Mercedes, wins the big one on the big stage.
Yeah, I think also Tony has been, like Larry said, synonymous with the AEW Women's Championship for so long. It might actually do her some good to be away from the picture for a little while. And I think if if the reports are true that the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships are going to be introduced at some point here in the near future, you got Tony and Mina who make an obvious team. And,
That's fair, yeah.
And can be an anchor in that division for a little while. Somebody who has been an anchor weighing down AEW, some would say, for the last several months, I say as a Cincinnati guy, is Jon Moxley, the AEW World Champion, going up against Hangman Adam Page. Texas Death Match. This seems so set up for Hangman's coronation to win the title for the second time. It's time, right? Lyric, it's time. Like, it's the pyro, the fireworks, all of it. You get the big rescue moment. Darby Allin, Sting. Give me the WrestleMania 40 shenanigans finish out the wazoo. Everybody gets involved in this one. Everybody that Jon Moxley has ever wronged or pissed off comes down here and gives the assist and makes it one-on-one, and Hangman finally gets the job done with a buckshot lariat. I'm calling it. That's what happens. What do you think?
I completely agree. And honestly, I feel like comparing it to WrestleMania 40 respectfully does it a disservice. This is going to be like absolutely batshit nuts, bloody, nasty.
Sure, the rated R version of WrestleMania 40.
Literally. It's going to be insane. Like, I can't even like fathom. It's going to be in game, bro. Like,
the beauty part of the Texas Death Match is you don't have to do a dumbass ref bump like they had to do at WrestleMania 41.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
In game. And plus, like, all the run-ins, very few of them are actually going to be senior citizens. So we're already doing so much better. We're just going to have Sting out there, but he doesn't count. What a beast.
Please just come out with the full beard, by the way.
No, listen. This is going to be so sick. And then, like, when Hangman, he's going to do the house call JML driver buckshot lariat combo. And we're going to, like, honestly, I hope that he's, like, in good enough shape at that point. Like, I hope Kenny runs out there too. Like, let's just really, like, let's just hammer it all on. Like, at this point, we're going to be ridiculous. Everybody's going to be bleeding. They're going to have to bring blood bags out.
Maybe this is where they bring Cope in, just throw everybody.
It's going to be nuts. But of course, I'm going with the hanger here. It's past time. It's been time. Acknowledge the main character of all elite wrestling. It's his time, and that's what we're going with.
Zach, this feels like a Hangman wins or we riot type of situation.
Well, yes.
Hangman's got to win. He's got to win. He's going to win. This is a moment where I think as a booker, you can outthink yourself. You've built this whole thing. You're there. Go there. Don't get too cute. Go where people want this thing to go, and that is Hangman Page beating Jon Moxley and winning the world title for a second time on a major stage. And I think it is that simple. And I hope, like, for as fun as the Avengers Assemble finish would be on this, and admittedly, I certainly would enjoy it. No question about it. I'm not saying what I'm about to say because I wouldn't like it, but I don't want to see like a repeat of WrestleMania 40. I hope that they could, if they do it, they could find a way to make it either more intense or more unique, or maybe even give Page and Moxley like a little bit more time out there alone after the run-in, in order to just really signify that it's Page's moment and not just about the run-ins. I hope that they could kind of work their way through that. But the bottom line is, this show needs to end with Hangman Page in the middle of that ring, with taking the world title out of that briefcase and holding it up as fireworks go behind him. That's how it's got to be, period.
I hope it's Dusty too. Like, I hope he has to blow it off.
I also think I think that they're going to avoid the WrestleMania situation just because there's so many different layers, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I thought that the WrestleMania 40 main event was good-ish. But I do think like some of it was very much so nostalgia farming and like just okay, like let's pull out the Undertaker, let's pull out John Cena. Like the run-ins that we expect to happen are all very much so in tune and intertwined with this story. Everybody,
for sure, yeah.
Everybody who's going to be out there is supposed to be there. You had that visual, especially the night, like that first Dynamite after Double or Nothing, where you have this Swerve, Ospreay, Hangman, trio in the ring, and that's really important. You had Darby at the beginning of this story, and then obviously the Hangman Swerve relationship is compelling in and of its own. Are they going to help each other? Are they not? So I think you're going to avoid a lot of that just because these run-ins are going to be meaningful. It's not just going to be random guys running in. The only as random as it gets is probably Sting, and I mean it's Sting. I don't know what to tell you.
Sting's just coming down with Darby.
So it's just, yeah. So
he's gonna come down with a flamethrower, and Sting's gonna be there with a bat, and they'll just
get Willow Nightingale out there,
for sure. Willow's gonna take out Mina, excuse me.
I want her to finally. Wait, the thing is, they have intentionally not allowed Willow to pounce Mox this entire time. She's hit the pounce on just about everybody else except for Mox. I'm ready for her to finally get that payoff of a pounce on Mox. The place is going to erupt.
If they do that, I immediately on Dynamite on Wednesday need a backstage interview between Willow and Renee. Immediately. I just want that awkwardness to play out on screen.
Hey girl.
Hey girl, I feel like Renee's on-screen character would be like, yeah, I know my husband's an asshole, so what? All right.
She gets put in
good
crazy
job.
situations. She gets put in all the crazy situations that people are like, do you know I hate your husband? She's like, well,
it's fine.
It is what it is.
She gets it. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to all the shows this weekend. Lyric, have a blast while you're out there this weekend. I have a feeling you're probably going to have a clean sweep, and you're probably going to win this one. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all about the friends we made along the way, not who got the most predictions right. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, guys. Really helps drive up our audience more than you know. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check out John Alba's conversation with Hangman Adam Page. Check out our joint prediction show for Saturday night's main event and Evolution. And as always, enjoy the shows this weekend, and we'll be back later here on the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.